Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Max.
I'm Ben.
And I'm May, and we were all had. Can you believe it?
There are twists and there are turns.
Defleshed is a standard death.
Oh, that's fun.
We were had.
We were.
This week, I'm going to talk about cattle mutilation. Ever heard of it?
Just work.
You're familiar with this work?
Well, a fun fact is May texted us. She goes, first topic, we can't budge on this. We're doing cattle mutilation. And I said,
yeah, May's commitment to cattle mutilation is
it's
impressive.
Story. But my thing was, I responded saying, that's not a mystery, May. We know that they get mutilated. But because I thought she was just talking the run-of-the-mill cows being mistreated for beef. But there's a much darker story.
No, I'm not talking about the plot of the Okja. I'm talking about something that I feel like so many more people should know about, and it's wild that people don't know about it. And I'm not here to pull a fucking QAnon thing, but I am. It is strange that more people don't know about this. I'll say that before I get into it. But you guys ready to hear what it is?
I'm ready.
Yes, absolutely.
Alrighty. So cattle mutilation, also known as bovine excision, and unexplained livestock death, is the killing and mutilation of cattle under unusual, usually bloodless circumstances. So basically, people are finding their horses and shit 20 miles away from their farms with perfect incisions that look like they were cut from lasers, and there's no blood around them, and then they're missing organs. So seems like not natural causes. So this happens it's not just in America. It happens all over the world, and it's been reported since the 1600s, which is so fucking weird. So it's actually noted in official records of the court of James I of England. He sounds legit.
No, James.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, we all know James. Very credible. He was that generation's QAnon. And it's been reported all over the world, and there's an estimated, according to the FBI in 1979, it was they indicated.
We just jumped a few hundred years. Okay, yeah.
But listen, I'm reading you guys a Wikipedia article.
Jimmy
okay?
number 1 of England had an FBI. All right.
Okay, whatever. So there had been an estimated 8,000 mutilations in Colorado alone in 1979, which is insane, and it's actually happening up pretty recently. So in May of 2001, 200 goats were mutilated in Indonesia, and in South America there's 3,500 instances since 2002. So there's it's all over the world. It's not just some crazy ass people saying it about one specific incident. It's a million different incidents that are going and remaining unsolved, and people have no idea how it happens.
When you say a bloodless death, that just sounds fun. But
yeah.
Do you mean that there's no blood left in the body, or there's no blood on the wounds?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, so I actually looked up some crime scene photos, if you will, and they're graphic as fuck. We'll put them up on our Instagram.
Well, why are they graphic if there's no blood?
They're just insane. So actually, I'll talk about this one horse who was really famous. This horse named
Secretariat?
Lil Sebastian?
So I'll talk about.
It's got to be one of those two.
There's only 2 famous horses.
Yeah, 2 famous horses. She's gonna make a deep cut.
Who's the other famous horse that's in your bit?
Oh, Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. Yeah, I think he's more famous.
Seabiscuit.
He's got a movie named after him.
Okay.
It's about him. I mean, it's not just
Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire played Seabiscuit in that movie.
Yes, and the big reveal in that movie is that Tobey Maguire is half blind.
Yeah, is that true?
Yep, he's blind in one eye. Chris Cooper says that.
Whatever. All right.
What about Horse War? Wasn't that a war
Although
horse?
I guess the big twist
War
in the movie
horse?
is that.
War Horse. Remember that movie?
Oh, Spielberg's finest.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how it's
That's who it was of war horse fame.
Of war horse fame, lady.
The war horse had a bloodless death after everything he's been through.
The third most famous horse, it was a horse named Lady, and this was in 1967. They found her about 2 miles away from her little ranch, and her head was taken off.
No.
And it was her head was skinned and defleshed, whatever the fuck that means. And the body was displayed that had cuts that were super precise, so with a laser probably.
Oh god.
And there was no blood at the scene, so there was no blood on her body, around her body. She was just sucked dry. And according to the guy who found her, there was a strong medicinal odor in the air. So they're like, what the fuck is going on? And this is 1967, so they go to the police, and the police basically say there's no abnormal causes here. It's a pretty standard death. And
What?
it was probably
Defleshed is a standard death?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And they go, the death was probably due to a lightning strike, and then they never even bothered to go to the site. So they didn't even see the horse. They were like, oh, forget, it's like totally whatever. You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's insane. I mean, I don't know
do you
much
think-
about lightning strikes.
Do you think the cops are in on it? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. And
Or do you think it was one of these things where it was just like they were annoyed, it was just a horse, they didn't want to bother explaining kind of thing. They wanted to move on.
Well, see, that's where I get messed up with like conspiracies of like everyone's in on it, because these guys, you think these guys are having a beer after work, they go home, they hit their wives, they're not telling anybody about the aliens that are cutting up horses.
in between beating the bag out of their wives, I'm sure they're thinking about the horse. I don't know.
They're just not going to mention it.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, in this specific case, so I actually listened to a podcast about it because I was doing nothing at work today. So I listened to a podcast about this couple that found their horse because they were like, wouldn't let it go. Obviously, if somebody like skinned Greg alive, I would be like, I'm not letting this go. And
Greg is May's cat. by
Greg
the
is
way.
my cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone skinned my brother Greg alive. I would be perturbed.
I would want them to have some sort of punishment. I don't know. Is that crazy? So they wouldn't let it go, and they kept like talking to the police, like talking to the FBI, and no one would take them seriously. And they were like, we saw what we saw, and it was fucking wild. And basically, like, this poor couple was made to look like psychopaths, and like lost all their friends, lost all their family, because they were obsessed with it, and they thought that aliens came down and like fucked with their horse, which like maybe, I don't know. And they died like friendless and without any answers. So that's a bummer.
The
FBI
owners of
killed
Lady.
The owners of Lady. But like they made like a
No.
big stink of it. And the police were like, enough already. Like, your horse died. Who gives a fuck? And they were like, it's kind of
When
weird.
does
so
it
then
become a case for the FBI? When does it leave the jurisdiction of the police? When
I
the
don't
blood
know.
gets removed from the scene? When does that
When-
happen? When someone gets defleshed, it's an FBI case.
yeah. I mean, I don't think some fucking podunk ass county sheriff in Colorado can handle a defleshing.
Listen, who among us can't handle a defleshing? Okay, so it happens all over the world. It's happening constantly. What are the running theories, and what do you think?
Okay, so we have some cases or some causes that are the running theories, but I want to first go through the physical characteristics of what typically is of a mutilation, because there's a few different ones. It's not just the one that like happened to Lady. There's like a few different types. But one of the weirdest things about them is that in all the cases, there's an absence of tracks or footprints around the site of the mutilated carcass.
Wow.
Which is so fucking weird. It's a hallmark of cattle mutilation. Also, in some cases,
It's a staple.
Can
That's a staple of the art.
Can you tell that I'm just reading off of Wikipedia? However, like in some cases, there's like strange marks and imprints near where the site has been found. So like people are thinking like aliens. I don't know.
Wait, strange. So what's the difference between a footprint and a strange mark?
A strange mark is like a deep hole in
Like
the
a
ground.
colon?
Yeah, yeah.
An asterisk.
A swastika.
A swastika, right.
Nazi aliens are doing it.
Nazi aliens. Oh, man.
But yeah, so in Lady's case, there were like several small holes that were found punched in the ground, and 2 bushes that were like completely flattened. So people are like, they have no explanation for that either. But they're like, yeah, the horse just like died of natural causes. Don't worry about it. In one that I think is interesting, in New Mexico, there was suction cup like impressions that were like found near a 3-year-old cow. Sad.
Like tentacles?
Yeah, maybe like tentacles or like a saucer landing or something like that.
One of those two.
Only
It's
can
gotta
do 2
be.
things.
There be 50-50.
It can only be tentacles.
I love
Beforehand.
the idea
I love
of
that.
like this.
That's gonna be
high-
Howie Mandel's new game show. Tentacles,
Tentacles
or,
or-
is it a flying saucer?
I love the idea that a flying saucer, this futuristic, amazing type of machinery, the way it lands is like on a suction cup, like into the ground. That's how it. You have to lick it a little bit, otherwise it won't stick to the ground.
It makes a little fart noise when it takes off. Okay, so there's a few running theories about it. Obviously, the most boring one and the most widely accepted one is natural causes, which I'm like, what the fuck?
What is natural about that? Lightning comes down.
Would lightning classify as natural? Is that the idea?
No. So they're like saying that they're so the explanation for the missing lips, anus, and genitals, which happens sometimes, where like,
Does anus not count as genitals? Just sidebar.
Well, it depends what kind of relationship you have.
No, I think your anus is like internal, and well, I guess my vagina is internal too. I don't know.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, so their lips, their anus, are there? How do you remove an anus? The butthole.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was
you can
wondering.
remove an anus. Practice.
But yeah, sometimes they're found like, I think I mentioned this, but maybe not. Like their organs are harvested. So like ladies, her organs were just gone and they weren't anywhere around them. But it wasn't like an animal came and ate them because the incisions were so perfect and there was no blood. So it's so fucking weird. But they're like, oh, maybe it was due to contraction because of dehydration. And you're like, what? And then the other one was small scavengers. And that's like, no.
Like we're just completely dismissing the probable theories. Okay.
No.
I mean, I am.
What about
Here's my rebuttal. No.
What about like a chupacabra type situation, or like a mystical beast that feeds only on the hearts of an innocent cow?
Beloved horses. Yeah. Beloved horses named Lady.
Just sucks the thing out.
Also something that's weird is that most of the animals that this happens to are around age 3 or 4.
Okay.
Wow.
So I don't know
Which
what that's
is
about.
prime organ years for
Oh, yeah.
an animal.
So missing mutilated eyes and soft internal organs are explained as probably just like vultures or flies, but a lot of these horses were found within like 24 hours of going missing. So it's like they don't eat them that fast, like pretty fast, but not that fast.
Mm-hmm.
So also no. An absence of blood is, they're saying there was like blood pooling in the lowest parts of the body and then breaking down into its basic organic components. Nobody knows your science speak, okay? You're wrong.
Yeah, you're just making things up. That's not how blood works.
That's not how blood works. I'm an expert. And the surgical incisions in the skin are explained as tears in the skin created when it's stretched by postmortem bloat or dehydration. Maybe. I'll give that one a maybe, but a probably not. Okay.
So they're saying the natural cause is like this cow is escaping from where it's supposed to be, and then just it goes off and explodes.
That's what they're saying. They're like, listen to this completely reasonable theory. Your horse exploded over a course of 12 hours.
Here's the thing. Lady got lost, she panicked, and she blew up. So that's just something that happens.
It's just, get over it. Get the fuck over it, okay?
Yo,
Don't lose
you
all
ever
your
been
friends
so
and family.
scared at night that the skin falls off your face? Because we've all been there.
Yeah. You know what I used to be really afraid of growing up was, oh shit, what's it called? Like, spontaneous combustion.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I thought that was like just a thing that was going to happen to me at some point in my life. I was like, I better watch
For me,
out.
it was,
'cause I'm gonna
for me, it was
Any
quicksand.
moment.
I was
I
really
was more
worried about
afraid of
quicksand.
post-mortem bloat. That was what I was, because I get bloated sometimes after like I have certain meals, and I feel like it would suck if that even continues after death.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wait, Max, what were you afraid of?
Oh, quicksand. I thought it would be a real issue.
Oh yeah, I did think it was going to be a big deal in my life.
I
Also,
assumed it would be an issue.
Quicksand and sinkholes, which are they different?
I don't even know what a sinkhole is.
A sinkhole,
A
is
sinkhole
like
just
sometimes
happens.
like, yeah, like literally, like you can be driving in your car and then you just fall into the earth. I swear
Great,
to
glad
God.
I know that now.
I'm not even kidding. Look it up. Maybe we could do that as an episode.
Do you think that's
Well,
alien?
that sounds like it exists.
Yeah, it exists. It's not really much of a mystery.
All right, so what we've disproven all the scientists with their crackpot, whatever science.
Yeah, whatever.
What-
Dr. Fauci, fucking idiot.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Wear a mask and your horse won't die. Anyway, what do you think is the actual thing?
Wait, okay, so I have a few more theories to run through, and then we'll all vote on which one we think is real. So the next one is animal cruelty and human activity. So basically, like, psychopaths just, like, attacking animals and doing weird shit with them. And
Well,
like,
we have
That
to
makes
mention.
sense.
I mean, has
People
anyone
are fucking freaks.
yeah.
Has anyone watched Dexter? I don't know much about Dexter, but isn't this part of the thing that he can like do a bloodless kind of murder? Isn't that conceivably a thing?
Well, I know that, like, the Black Dahlia, for instance, which we'll probably cover at some point, she was drained of her blood in a different location and then dropped where she was. So that's something. But, like, the same way that, like, if you kill, like, a deer, you have to, like, hang it upside down and drain it, which is fucking disgusting. But
Oh God.
Why do you
that's
have
how
to
it
do
goes.
that?
What?
Why do you have to?
Oh.
Why is that the rule?
For religious purposes.
Okay. Is that actually true?
Yeah, so people are saying, like, maybe people are getting off on this. Maybe people are, like, because they were taking a bunch of, like, the horse's dicks and shit. So they're like, I don't know. Who knows?
Oh
like,
my
maybe people
God.
are, like,
Was
sexual
there ever
stimulation or
like
whatever.
semen found in like the air canal or anything that Ice-T would be upset about on SVU?
I don't know. Yeah, imagine all these horses were just like, they failed to mention a key detail. They all had semen in their
There's
buttholes.
just one thing they all had in common.
They all clearly got fucked before they died.
Okay, so that's one theory. And then the other one is cults. So obviously people are thinking that cults are like harvesting their blood and harvesting their organs and doing weird rituals with it. This theory came about like during the time of like satanic panic. So this is like a really popular one where people were just thinking like there's a bunch of fucking Illuminati shit going on with these. And that's like, it was also tied to like the police are covering it up and they're not looking into it much. So like maybe that's part of it, which leads me to my next one, which was government or military experimentation.
Before we move on for 1 second,
Yeah.
wouldn't so if we don't say that the government or aliens or whatever are involved, is this something that conceivably, because you're saying cults are just like regular Joes, right? Is this something that they could pull off? Or I mean, that seems a little sophisticated.
Yeah,
no?
I don't think so. I don't think they could pull it off. Like, I have extensive research in cults. I listen to a podcast called Cults. I also listen to a podcast called Cults of My Lives. And
Yeah, that one's actually about baby horses.
yeah.
Here's the thing,
and
though: cults they don't have anything to do and all day to worry about it. So I do think that they could take the time to learn this
That's
shit. There's
true.
some freaks.
That's true.
And
I
they're
don't know if
motivated.
what do you picture cults being like? Everyone there just studying Euclid's like studying a textbook.
Well,
And
I'm
making real
sorry,
good
but the
use of their
cults
time.
they're not exactly playing Xbox. Like they're over there like just like jerking each other off and learning how to cut throats.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and also, I mean, look at the most successful ones like Scientology. Like, they're fucking motivated people.
Yeah, Tom Cruise
they can do
is
something.
just learning how to fucking scale buildings with his eyes closed. So I think you think he can't bloodlessly kill a cow? Think again.
And saving thousands of people from their jobs.
Yeah, he was really yelling.
He was really yelling,
Yeah.
but, you know, he had a
What
point.
hero.
Hero.
Okay, so moving on to government or military experimentation. So basically, this actually kind of makes sense to me. So they theorize that they are like just harvesting random things from like random places where people get their food from to make sure it's safe and make sure that there's any sort of like emerging diseases. Okay, that could be legit. And just not telling people though. I'm like, don't you want to like reimburse the owner of this cow? Like the cow's not cheap.
Also, why leave them so confused?
Yeah, just be like, hey, can we pay you fucking $1,000 for your cow so we can use
The
it? and run
government's just
tests? They'd be
having
like, yeah.
fun. They're like leaving a
Yeah.
calling card.
Yeah, just like yeah, and as a added benefit, we get to fuck with the owners of Lady. I mean, like what?
Exactly.
That's
We get to push these people to the brink of insanity,
Let's gaslight these people.
and then let's do
Yeah.
let's do a bunch of
and you
tests
tell
on
the
these
local
people.
cops, be like, I don't know, lightning.
Yeah. You psycho.
Yeah. Oh my god. You should shut up about this, or else you're gonna lose everybody in your life. Oh my god.
They just got satellite cameras looking at them from their little room. Just being like,
Laughing,
"Look at
eating popcorn as I put barrels of guns in their mouths.
He's gonna cry. He's gonna cry.
Okay, next one. Obviously, aliens and UFOs. It's got to be in there.
Okay.
One person claimed that he saw an object that looked as though it was a bluish-greenish light on each side with a glow surrounding it near the time that multiple farmers claimed that there was a bunch of mutilations. And the last one that's kind of interesting is government interference, which is basically saying that, let's see if I'm understanding this correctly, but I think, oh wait, no, I did not understand this correctly. Let me read this one once again.
So this one's different from government experiments.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're interfering with the lady bloodline. That's a horse too powerful and beloved to procreate.
Hmm. Lady's a great name, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's
just
really
simple.
cute.
It's a power name.
Mm.
I don't even know. I've read
You know,
this
I-
like 20
do you not-
times and I don't understand it. Do you want to explain what it is? Because I literally can't understand
So
it.
I'm trying to read the article that May was saying. So at the same time that UFO reports were being filed with law enforcement, larger numbers of ranchers claimed to see black helicopters around their fields, coinciding with the cattle mutilations. Okay. Although some initially thought these were used by cattle rustlers.
What is that? I guess like getting them all to like a modern sheepdog.
Right.
Oh,
That'll do.
Okay.
Suspicion soon pointed toward a military operation running out of Fort Riley, Kansas. Reporter Dane Edwards, he's good, spread the theory that the government was testing cattle parts to develop biological weapons. Okay, that's probably big. To use in
I
Vietnam.
Nam.
Going so far as to write to Floyd K. Haskell during his investigation to accuse agents of threatening him into silence.
Whoa.
Vigilante groups were formed.
Vigilante
information.
groups. That's exciting.
That sentence
What-
seemed very.
Well, May, can I
out of
can I
place.
ask you this? When is the last time this happened? Is it still happening like today?
It's still happening. Like literally 2019.
Where was it?
I don't know. but I swear to God, look it up.
Right behind you.
It's just a cow de-skinned behind me.
But this is a real. I bring this up at parties all the time, and people are like, "What?"
That sounds fun.
And then they clear the room. But I'll like be in a party, and I'm like, "Have you guys heard about this?" And they're like, "No, obviously not." And I'm like, "How is that obvious that you haven't heard about this? This is the craziest thing that's ever happened."
I love someone turning to May at a party and be like, "So what do you do?" And she's like, "Comedy, whatever." You hear about these cows getting fucked?
That's what it's like being at a party with
I don't
me.
think she even says comedy. I think she just goes right into it. How could you ask me a question like that when cows are being mutilated?
You have no idea how many people I've brought this up to. No idea.
You're just
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
raise awareness. You're definitely on a government list. All right. So okay, May, being an expert, what does your heart tell you this is?
I think it's probably the. Let me bring up my sheet again. That's not it. I think it's probably. I think the government is involved somehow.
Sure.
I think that
Mhm.
maybe. I
Obviously.
don't know.
Well, my question with all of these government ones is if this was really going on since England in the 1600s,
that's true. It doesn't make any sense.
then that's really
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
King
I don't
James just had to know if the new bombs were gonna work in the 1600s.
Yeah, that's a good
well,
point.
my
I guess I have to
theory-
say aliens.
Well, I sent you guys that article the other day about
I know, I saw.
the Israeli general who said that aliens are here. They've been here for
Right.
a long time. They know about it, and so does Trump. And the biggest whole plot hole there is that, like, if Trump knew about aliens, we would hear it. But also, the problem with it as well is that, like, in this year of our Lord 2020, every other week there's something like insane that, like, it's like Mars like clearly has people watching Netflix on it, or like there's aliens here, like pay attention, and nobody gives a fuck. So I don't think
No one
people
cares.
care. I don't think people care.
No, they really don't.
I could be at Starbucks and there could be an alien in front of me ordering a coffee, and I'd be pissed because he's not using his points. So I don't think that it really
You
matters.
get pissed
But
at people for not using their points?
yeah, I don't like them when people don't join the rewards program. It moves things around quicker.
Do
and
you,
they're
do
wasting,
you have stock
they're
in
leaving money.
Starbucks?
They're leaving money. They're leaving money on the table.
I guess I'm leaving money on the table then.
You're leaving money on the table. I want you to know that.
Okay.
And if the listeners get anything out of this podcast, it's to join the Starbucks reward program.
I was laughing to myself about that article because I read it, and like one of the things was that there's some underground lair in Mars or whatever, and there's representatives from Earth and representatives from this like alien planet, and they've made an agreement. I'm like, would the aliens bring their lawyers? Like they just have like an identical legal system that we have here.
I mean, look, it would be hard. It's obviously like it's impossible that aliens don't exist.
Right.
But it's also impossible that our garbage people of a society and as a race are able to interact with them. We are disgusting.
Oh yeah. Oh, completely.
Why would they want to be a part of this world?
They
How
would.
shitty is their Earth that they want to come over here?
I'm gonna try to date an alien, and he's gonna be like, no, thank you. You're gross.
So I want to go
You
back.
think you ever fucked an alien? Just like you thought it was a person?
You
Do you
think
think-
what?
Do you think you've ever
If I-
like met an alien? Do you think you've ever met an alien?
Oh,
Oh.
I've definitely met people where I got that vibe.
Mike?
Yeah.
Are
What?
Yeah. He could unzip his skin for sure.
So
All right. Well, here's
yeah,
my
to go
thing.
back for 1 second, just to talk over you. The sorry, no. All I was going to say is to go back to lightning for a second. I just don't understand the science, but how does that make any sense for some of these, effects?
It makes no sense. They were just trying to get them off their backs because the
Also-
fucking HBI was on their backs.
Lightning very
HBI?
clearly.
I mean, the
leaves,
FBI.
lightning very clearly like leaves like lightning burn marks.
Heifer
Like, doesn't it
Bureau
leave like a
of
tree?
Investigation.
All right, whatever. They're talking without me.
What are you saying, Max?
I was trying to talk science, and then you didn't listen.
No, I want to
Never
hear. I
listen
want to hear.
Science.
I was saying that lightning leaves very clear lightning marks when it strikes people. Like there's like a tree of like it leaves like the burn marks.
All
Like,
right,
you could-
all right, Ben Franklin. Why don't we comment with that? It makes marks. Okay, that's true.
And weren't we saying that these famously there are no marks on these cows?
It's the bloodless thing is throwing me off.
Well, I still don't
weird.
understand if there's no blood in the body or if there's no blood on the wounds.
There's no blood anywhere. There's no blood on the wounds, on the body, in the body, around the
So
body.
there's just a dry, dickless carcass in the middle of a field.
I swear to God.
It'd be funny if it's actually just like nothing there. if they're like, oh well, what we meant by bloodless and fleshless is there's just nothing. Our horse ran
You know
away.
what? You know what would be truly terrifying? If just in the middle of the field, it was the inverse. It's just a cow's penis in the middle of covered in blood. Just a cow's covered in blood in the middle of a field. That's upsetting.
That is upsetting. Also, they're huge. Oh, God.
Oh no.
Yuck. You
The
hate
good
to
news
see
is
it.
none of us live in anywhere near where. Here, the other thing is you can't take their word for it because farmers are drunk 24 hours a day. You have no
Are they?
idea. Yeah, they probably did this during a blackout. You don't think a farmer's not just like they're not just doing this by accident to their cows? You know how boring a farmer's life is.
You get up early.
Yeah. Why do they, okay, here's my question about the getting up early. Why do they have to do everything so early? Why don't they just get on a better schedule?
They live by the sun's rules
Why?
for the harvest.
I don't listen to no son. Go by my own rules.
Like, can't the cows wait an extra, 2 hours to be milked?
All right, so is the conclusion here that we were had definitively because we have no idea, or
Oh, we were definitely had. We got good.
Yeah, I really don't.
Yeah.
I
We
don't
got.
feel like
We
any
got
of the explanations make much. I mean, aliens make sense to me, but I don't want to go there.
Which one makes
Right.
sense to you?
Aliens. I mean, that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
only thing. The fact that it's been going on for what is it, 500 years is really, that's what throws me off.
Or
I mean,
does
it's
it speak to
aliens.
the strength of the U.S. government that we've been able to do this since the
Before
early
we were a
1600s?
country.
that the CIA was able to just be doing this. Right under
CIA.
King James's nose, the Homeland Security organization was able to do this to cows. It's incredible.
It's wild. Kudos to them.
Why is it called cow mutilation? And our main example was a horse.
Wow.
cattle.
That's an unexplained mystery.
What is?
I think cattle is also a
Is
horse.
cattle everything?